الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين خاتم النبيين محمد المصطفى وعلى آله وأصحابه أولي الصدق والصفاء أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى جل جلاله في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والله يختص برحمته من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله. Highly respectable audience, I am here to celebrate the birthday of Hazrat Imam Hussain alayhi salam. You should bear in mind that all of the virtuous people are nice. They should be respected. All of the Ummah Muhammadiyah is highly placed, especially the companion of the Holy Prophet, the caliphs of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu, the paradisiacal people who were given the glad tidings of paradise, and the people who participated in the Battle of Badr, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala peeped out from the curtain of unseen secret and told them that, O people who participated in the Badr Sharif will never go to the hell even for a second. So they are highly dignified people, and we should pay the respect to every companion of the Holy Prophet. But the companions of the Holy Prophets are really people of Fazl Jazai, means they would be rewarded for their practice. And Ummah as Ummah is not dignified as Jaza, as reward of their practice, but they were dignified because of the relationship of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu. Kuntum khayra ummatin ukhrijat linnas. You are the best society, you are the best ummah who were created for the betterment, for the welfare of the other society. So ummah as ummah is dignified by the fazl of Rasul Kareem. They were not rewarded because of their character. They were dignified because of their attribution to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu. So the Ahl Bayt Rasul Sallallahu They are of two types. The wives of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu are people rewarded by their character. Quran says if you earn the virtues, you would be given double remuneration. So they are the people of Fazle Jazai, means jaza, reward, and remuneration is also bounty of Allah. Allah is not duty bound to pay anything to anybody. If He gives the remuneration for the good character, that is also fazl, bounty of and grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the wives of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu, they were reported by the Holy Quran that if you earn the virtues, you would be given the double remuneration. But if you commit any bad thing, your punishment would be doubled. But here, these 5 persons are the people of Fazle Ikhtisasi. Wallahu yakhtassu birahmatihi man yasha. This is a rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He can dignify, He can uplift anybody He likes by means of His blessing without any deservation, just like prophets were given this status better than everybody else in the world. So they were dignified not on account of their character, but they were dignified and uplifted just because of blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a special right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Nabi Kareem was also given a prerogative rights, means special rights of the prophethood. He gave the dignity of two evidence to Khuzaimah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. It was not a legal right of Hazrat Khuzaimah, but he was dignified only by Nabi Kareem, and this is prerogative right. Just like Man Shahid Alahu Khuzaimah, even if 2 witnesses are necessary to prove even a small matter, but when Hazrat Khuzaimah Ansari radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he goes there for the evidence, so only one evidence is enough for him. So Hazrat Nabi Kareem Sahib has given the right, just like he said, these 10 persons are paradisiacal. So they were just standing behind him. When Nabi Kareem Sahib turned his face from Baitul Maqdis to Baitul Haram, they did not consider any matter, and they did not utilize their personal syllogism, but they turned without any discretionary matter. So they were announced by Nabi Kareem Sallallahu. The procedure is when a person dies away and he is adduced in the court of Allah and his scrutinization is held, and then he is scrutinized in court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After checking their personal character, they would be granted the paradise if they are successful. But it is prerogative right of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu that without death, without the holding of scrutinization, without any calculation of their merits, they were granted the paradise. So this is prerogative right. Just like Allah has got option to dignify any person He likes, similarly the Holy Prophet is also granted the right of prerogative right. He can give the status more than every other person in the world, in this world and the next world. So this is a special right of Nabi Karim Salam. So according to the prerogative right, Nabi Karim Salam can dignify any person, just like Nabi Karim Salam said, Sayyida Fatima is master of the paradise, Sayyidatun Nisa'i fil Jannah. So it was this dignity and this status was not given to Sayyida Fatima because of their character, but it was a dignification of Nabi Karim Sallallahu according to the prerogative rights. Judge Hassan Hussain, Sayyida Shabab al Jannah, both of them were not adult, they were minor, and there was no their character in front of Nabi Karim Sallallahu, but he declared them to be the supreme persons in the paradise. This was prerogative right of Nabi Karim Sallallahu. Nobody can object that the other people were not declared to be chief of the paradise, but they were small children, but they were dignified by Nabi Karim Sallallahu. So this is a special right of Nabi Karim Sallallahu, which can be termed as prerogative right, as Prime Minister has got a prerogative right to redeem a murderer person after the death sentence. He can emancipate any person he likes. So the law is not applicable here because this is prerogative right of the Prime Minister. Just like Prime Minister is free from the any accountability or any checking, he can utilize his rights, but his rights are not equal to Nabi Karim Sallallahu. Nabi Karim Sallallahu was given the right as prerogative right. If he wants, he can exempt from the liability of daily duties. One of the companions of Nabi Karim Sallallahu came to Nabi Karim Sallallahu. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I am not in position to do 5 prayers every day. Nabi Karim Sallallahu said, how many prayers you can easily do? He said, only 3. Then Nabi Karim Sallallahu allowed him to do only 3 prayers and they would be enough for him. So this is prerogative right of Nabi Karim Sallallahu. So Imam Hussain radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was born to Hazrat Ali Murtaza and Sayyidatun Nisa Fatimah Zahra on the 5th of Shaban, the 3rd year of Hijrah. And mother was Sayyidatun Nisa and father was Sayyidul Arab. Hakim Trimzi reports a tradition and he reports Nabi Karim Sallallahu to have said, Haza Sayyidul Arab, Janabi Sayyida Asha, Sayyida Taiba, Tayyaba Tahira was sitting there. She objected the statement. She said, Alasa Anta Sayyidul Arab? Aren't you Sayyidul Arab? He said, Ana Sayyidul Alameen. Ali is Sayyidul Arab. So this is a special status of Hazrat Ali Shirkadar. Sayyida Fatima is Sayyidatun Nisa'i fil Jannah and Ali Murtaza is Sayyidul Arab. Arab are superior than all of the Ajam, other than Arab. Other than Arab are termed as Ajam. And Arab are Arabs, the Arabic speaker. Nabi Karim Sallallahu was reported to have said, Ahibbul Arab al-Salas, Inni Arabiyun, wal Quranu Arabiyun, wal Lisanu al-Jannati Arabiyun. Love Arab people for 3 reasons. Because I am Arabic speaker and the Quran is also Arabic, the official language of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. that is utilized in this world, and at the time of Judgment Day, the court would be held in the Arabic language, and the language of Law Mahfuz is also Arabic. This is a principle wherever there is a kingdom or rule of a community, the language of that community is believed to be official language. Just like British government went to Pakistan, went to India, the people resident of that country, they were speaking Punjabi, Urdu, Hindi, Sindhi, Sagri, Purbi, Pachmi, Tamil, but the official language was only English because the language of the ruler was English. Therefore, the official language was English. Since the ruler of the universe subject to Allah is Nabi Kareem Sallallahu, his language is Arabic. Therefore, all of the officials' procedures are attempted in Arabic. The language of the Holy Quran is Arabic, and Imam Sufyan Sauri, he is one of the prominent scholars of Kufa concerning with Imam Unifa, Radial Sufyan Sauri. He says, Lam yanzil wahyun illa bil lughat al arabiyya fatarjama kullu nabiyyin liqawmin bilisanihim. No revelation was made in other than Arabic language, but every prophet was duty bound to translate the revelation from Arabic to their language. So this is the main difference between the Quran and the other celestial books. Celestial books means Asmani Kitabe. Celestial book. They were originally in Arabic. They were translated by their prophets. The books of Pentateuch, the four Gospel, their original language was Arabic. The Jesus and Moses translated for them. The Pentateuch are found in the world in Arabic nowadays as well, but they were translated by Moses, may grace and peace of Allah be upon him. So this is the main difference between the Quran and the other language. If a person does the prayer, he is duty bound to recite the Holy Quran, at least 3 small verses of the Holy Quran or 1 long verse of the Holy Quran. But no other celestial books are necessary to be recited in their prayers because they are translated. They are not original language. So this is a fundamental difference between the Holy Quran and the other celestial. And the language of Law Mahfuz is also Arabic, and the language of the angels is also Arabic, and the language of Karamul Katibin is also Arabic. The language of purgatory means barzakh. The language of purgatory is also Arabic. This is why all of the questions which are made to the dead body by the angels, they are in Arabic, because this is just to assure him that this is the kingdom of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu. This is why the language of the king of the universe is used. So Hazrat Nabi Kareem Sallallahu was supreme person subject to God. He was the Attorney General of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He can do whatever he likes subject to God with the approval of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ma arsalna min rasulin illa liyuta'a bi'iznillah. We did not send any prophet, but everybody is duty bound to bow down before him with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam Hussain was born to Sayyidul Arab and Sayyidatul Nisa. Both of them was supreme, and Imam Ibn Asakir, who passed away 571 AH. He is a very reliable person. His book Ibn Asakir is 84 volumes. He writes in 23 volumes. He said that when Nabi Karim came back from the ascension, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, these three items will be announced. One is Ali Imam al-Muttaqeen, Ali Amir al-Muslimin, Ali is Qaid al-Khurr al-Muhajjalin, means Ali is the chief of the believers in this world and in the next world. And Ali is chief of the pious people in this world and the next world. All of the people can be Taqi, Atqa, but Imam al-Atqiya, Imam al-Muttaqin is only Ali. And Qaid al-Ghurr al-Muhajjalin, when there would be the day of judgment, the people would appear in court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Ali Murtaz Sharif Khuda would be leading a community whose four organs would be illuminating and shining, very brilliant. The organs of wuzu, 2 hands, 2 feet, and face, which are termed Panj Kalyan. The believers would be Panj Kalyan, and the leader of them would only be Hazrat Ali Murtaza, Sharif Khuda radiyallahu ta'ala, and the disbeliever in Ali Murtaza Sharif Khuda radiyallahu, their faces would be blackened and their eyes would be green. Akhi biliyan, rang kale. This is the feature of Shimr Zil Joshan, the murderer of Imam Hussain. Hazrat Ibn Asakir says that these three items were necessary for Muhammad Mustafa to announce just after coming back from ascension, from Miraj. Miraj is called ascension. Just after coming back from ascension, these three items were announced by Nabi Karim Sallallahu. So look the position of Hazrat Imam Hussain. His father was Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen, Qaid al-Ghurr al-Muhajjalin, and his mother was Sayyidatun Nisa fil Jannah, and his grandfather was Sayyid al-Anbiya. This is why when Imam Hussain went in front of his enemy, he said, Anabnu Ali al-Hibr min Ali Hashimi. Anabnu Ali al-Hibr min Ali Hashimi. Kafani bi hazam afkharan, khina afkharu. I am the son of that person who was the greatest scholar in Ummah. After Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, no scholar could be compared with Imam Hussain, neither in the previous Ummahs, neither in this Ummah. He was the supreme scholar and chief scholar of the universe after the prophets. Anabnu Ali al-Hibre min Ali Hashimi. I am from Ali Hashim. Ibn Taymiyyah, who is concerning with the other parties, he says that all of the creature other than Arab are lower than Arab, and all of the Arab are lower than the Quraysh, and Quraysh are lower than Hashim, and Ali is supreme of Hashimiyah. Hashimi is a great rank. As the Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal writes in Fazail Amir al-Mu'mineen, he says that Gabriel appeared in the service of Nabi Karim Sallallahu, said, Ya Rasulullah, Ana kallabtul mashariq wal magharib. O my holy Prophet, I have checked all of the Mashriq and Maghrib, means all of the universe, but I did not find any person equal to the son of Hashmi. Nobody can be compared with Hashmiya, and no Hashmi can be compared with Hazrat Ali Sher Khuda radiyallahu ta'ala. There is a book with the name of Mukhtasar al-Waqaya. He writes in the chapter of Kafat, means equivalence in the marriage. The husband and wife, at least they should be equivalent to each other. At least the husband must be superior to the wife. Here he says that the Arab people are unequal, unique as compared with the Ajam, and all of the Arab cannot be compared with the Quraishi people, and Quraishi people cannot be compared with the Hashmi people. And he says, Mullah Qari writes here in the commentary on this book, he says that the Shara, this is reference of Shara Ilyas. Shara Ilyas is taught in Afghanistan, is equal to Kanzud Daqaiq. That is called Shara Ilyas. He writes, all of the Quraishi people, they cannot be equalized with the Ale Khulafa, Ale Khilafat. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the first caliph, and his offspring, his all is superior to all of the other people, other Arabic people. And Ale Umar radiallahu anhu cannot be compared with the all of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And Ale Usman cannot be compared with the all of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu anhu. Means according to the status of their fathers, their status must be established. So first position is the Ale Abu Bakr, the second position is Ale Umar, and the third position is Ale Usman. And then they say that Shara Ilyas says that the Hashmi people are superior than the all of these three persons. Ale Abu Bakr, Ale Umar, Ale Usman cannot be compared with Ale Hashim. And all of the Hashmi cannot be compared with the Ale Ali. And total Ale Ali cannot be compared with Ale Fatima. This is the difference. So, as the Imam Hussain, just gossiping is very easy. The people who are gossiping here and there, they are not aware the contents of the books. This is why they are not ready to confront me. They are talking behind me. But when I come, I say, come in front of me. They can only make a noise. This is why all of the noisy party has been changed. No, they are speaking by my idea. They are following my ideas. Imam Hussain, here it was quite clear, clarified that even Ale Ali means the offspring of Ali Murtaza from the other wife than Sayyida Fatima, they cannot be compared with the Ale Fatima. Ale Fatima is superior to Ale Ali as well. All of the offspring of Ali, Sher Murtaza, Sher Khuda radiyallahu. Once upon a time, Hassan Hussain and Ali Murtaza were present in a meeting, and they sat down on a bed. On one side Imam Hassan, and the other side Imam Hussain, and Ali Murtaza Sher Khuda was sitting between them. And Muhammad bin Anfiya, which was born to the maid slave of Hazrat Ali Sher Khuda radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that was born in the battle of Musalmat al-Kazzab, and he was granted from the share from the booty of Musalmat al-Kazzab. So he was standing there, and he did not like it. Hazrat Ali Murtaza Sher Khuda found him inquisitive. He was just to know the reason. These two sons are sitting with Hazrat Ali, and he did not allow him to sit with them. He said, these two are sons of Nabi Kareem Salam, and you are my son. My son is not equal to the sons of Nabi Kareem Salam. So, Alhamdulillah, I have investigated all of the matters. Without complete investigation, I did not say even a single sentence. Imam Hussain was born on 5th of Shaban to Sayyida Fatima, and there was no blood, no parturition blood. And parturition is a blood which comes out after the birth of a baby. As this Sayyida Fatima was Tayyiba Tahira, Nabi Kareem said, La yajuzu, la yahillu li akhadin an yajnu fi masjidi haza illa ana aw Ali. Nobody is allowed to pass through this mosque of the Prophet, except me and except Ali. But there are other traditions which show that Hazrat Sayyida Fatima and Sayyidina Hassan Hussain, all of them are in the same status. They can pass through the pollution, in the case of pollution, from the mosque of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu, because Ali Murtaza was a person who was born in Kaaba Sharif, and he did not pollute the Kaaba Sharif. This is why he was allowed to pass through the mosque of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu in the case of pollution. And Nabi Kareem Sallallahu was a person who was causing the purity and sanctity to everything he was touching. Jo'ilat liyal ardo masjidan wa tahura. When I just touched the earth, all of the earth was changed and it became a mosque. Not only mosque, but the soil of the earth became purifying material. You can make tayammum on the earth. Why? It is not in position to purify any persons before the touching of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu. Means the touch of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu sanctifies everything which is not purified or sanctified. So this is set of tatahir. This is the meaning of tatahir. They were the torch bearer of the tatahir. Sayyida Fatima was a very fundamental member of that community. This is why she was not impure. She took the bath and did the prayer. Sayyida Fatima, up to the time of her shrine, she did not miss any prayer. She did not experience any menses. This is why Nabi Kareem said, she is paradisiacal woman. Hura Adamiya. This is a hur, means the beautiful woman of paradise, but in the form of a human being. So, Hazrat Sayyida Fatima did all of the prayers just after the giving birth to a baby. He did not miss any prayer. He did not experience any menses in the whole of the life. And Sayyida Fatima, when he was about to die, she took a bath herself and she wrapped the shroud around herself and she asked a lady present there, as the Asma bint Umays, which was Firstly, wife of Hazrat Ammar bin Yasir, not Ammar bin Yasir, but Hazrat Qarar's brother Jafar Tayyar. When she became widow, she got married with Hazrat Abu Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala. When she became widow, she got married with Hazrat Ali Sher Khuda radiallahu. After the death of Sayyida Fatima, she was present for the service. Asma bint Umais, she advised, Hazrat Sayyida Fatima advised Hazrat Asma bint Umais, please don't touch my body. I have taken a bath which was necessary for me, and now I am going to die. Means the time of death is not known to anybody. Look, the knowledge of Sayyida Fatima. She was aware of the time of her death. She was sure that I will not break my ablution. I have taken my bath. Now I have utilized my shroud. And please ask Hazrat Ali Sher Khuda to bury me in the same position and not tell anybody to participate in my funeral prayer. Only my own family should participate in my funeral prayer. This is why Abu Bakr Siddiq and Abu Farooq was not invited to participate in the funeral prayer of Hazrat Sayyida Fatima. Many persons, they are fabricating the references that Hazrat Abu Siddiq radiallahu anhu led the prayer, but it is totally wrong. Hazrat Abbas led the funeral prayer of Sayyida Fatima over her body. And she was buried in night. This is why there are, in many families of Sadat, there is a custom that they bury their ladies in the night according to the Sunnah of Sayyida Fatima. Its intention was not to know anybody, because in my life no one was there to make gesture to me that she is going Sayyida Fatima. I don't want to break the record of my life. Nobody would be there to indicate towards me that this is the dead body of Sayyida Fatima. Therefore, I took my bath and utilized my shroud, and now I am ready to die. And this was the death of Nabi Kareem al-Sasa, Hazrat Sayyida Fatima. Look, this was the end of Sayyida Fatima and the end of Nabi Kareem al-Sasa. Tabqat ibn Sa'd says, and Ibn Asakir also says, in Ibn Asakir, they write that Nabi Kareem al-Sasa said, Udhu li Habibi, please call in my Habib, my beloved. They called Hazrat Sayyida Fatima was looking after Nabi Kareem al-Sasa because Nabi Kareem al-Sasa was in her room. Therefore, she estimated that it must be Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq. She called Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu in. When he came there, Nabi Kareem al-Sasa raised his head towards him, and then he placed his head back on the pillow. Then they understood this is not Habib of Nabi Kareem al-Sasa. Then again he said, Udhu li Habibi, please call in my beloved person. Then they called in Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu anhu. You must remember the references. These references was quoted by Ibn Mardawa as well in Manaqib Amir al-Mu'minin, who passed in 410 AH. He was resident of Asfahan, near about more than 1,000 books studied everywhere I saw the name of Imam Ibn Bardwa with great respect. Nobody was there to criticize or to impugn the name of Hazrat Ibn Bardwa. And Ibn Asakir is also very reliable person. When Hazrat Umar Farooq appeared there, Nabi Karim Sallallahu raised his head towards him and then he again placed his head on the pillow. Then they understand that this is not the beloved of Nabi Karim Sallallahu. Again he said, please Udu li Habibi, please call in my beloved person. Then Hazrat Ali Sher Khudar was called in. It means that in normal rate, Hazrat Ali was not going to be in car to be called in. But Nabi Karim Sallallahu was not satisfied by any other person in the name of Habib. When Hazrat Ali Sher Khudar came there, then Nabi Karim Sallallahu raised up the sheet he was wearing and asked him to lie down beside Nabi Karim Sallallahu. And they hugged each other. And in that very position, Nabi Pak Sallallahu passed away. The last title of Hazrat Ali Sher Khudar was Habib, and he was entitled by Nabi Karim Sallallahu. So he was beloved of Nabi Karim Sallallahu, and Sayyida Fatima was highly respectable to Nabi Karim Sallallahu. Tradition in Kutub-e-Siyah, canonical books. Canonical books are those books which were canonized by Abbasids. They are Muslim, Bukhari, Tirmidhi, Nisai, Ibn Majah, Abu Dawud. These 6 books were recognized by Abbasids. Therefore, these books are very reliable to the society. But the research scholar don't say that we are happy with this, because Imam Bukhari says that I memorize more 1,000, 100,000, the accurate, the completely Sahih Rawayat, traditions of Nabi Karim Rasul. And where are they? They must be there. Then many books were written on these very books. These very books, they are called Mustadrak. Mustadrak are those books who were just written just to make up the deficiency of these books. Means the traditions which are with the standard which was maintained by Muslim and Bukhari, but they were not inserted by many reasons. And most of them are concerning with the dignity of Ahl Bayt Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So those books were written with the name of Mustadrak. Istidrak means to make up the deficiency which was found in the previous things. All of the traditions which were neglected by these 6 authors, and they are really with the same standard which was maintained by Muslim and Bukhari, and they are preferable than the other canonical books. They are preferable than the Nisai, then Ibn Majah, then Abu Dawud, and they are also called Mustadrakat. Mustadrakat was written on these very books because the Abbasids were really very bad enemy, worst enemy of Ahl Bayt Rasul Sallallahu. Therefore, these authors were aware that if we write the dignity of Ahl Bayt Rasul Sallallahu, they will reject our books. So thus for their approval of their books, they tried their best to eliminate the traditions of dignity of Ahl Bayt Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So here Imam Nasai also writes the dignity of Ali Bayt Rasul Sallallahu, but he has got many other books, Khasais Murtaza, many other books, and he utilized his freedom of his speech, but he was badly beaten by the Umayyads, and he passed away just because of their beating. And the crime was just to mention the dignity of Ali Bayt Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Abu Dawood says that Nabi Karim Sallallahu did not pay any respect by standing for any person, for any creature. Even the Gabriel came from Sidrat al-Muntaha, but Nabi Karim Sallallahu never stood up. Abu Siddiq, Umar Farooq, the prophets of the previous Ummahs, they from time to time met Nabi Karim Sallallahu, but Nabi Karim Sallallahu did not stand for them. Only Sayyida Fatima, she was living in the next room. Whenever she used to come to the room of Nabi Karim Sallallahu, he would stand up and pay respect to Sayyida Fatima. So Sayyida Fatima was a matchless person and unique person to be respected by Nabi Karim Sallallahu by standing. Standing of Nabi Karim Sallallahu cannot be exemplified for anybody else except Fatima. So these are dignity. The husband was entitled by Nabi Karim Sallallahu as Habib, and Sayyida Fatima was respected by standing up for Sayyida Fatima. And Hasan Hussain, Nabi Karim Sallallahu was carrying Hazrat Imam Hassan, and once Hazrat Imam Hussain, one of the companions of the Holy Prophet, he cried out, "What a beautiful conveyance!" Nabi Karim Sallallahu said, "You should also say, what a beautiful riding person is." Means, just as the conveyance is very beautiful, the riding person is also very beautiful. It means that the beauty of himself was not accepted by Nabi Karim Sallallahu without mentioning the beauty of Hazrat Hasanain Karimain. Imam Hussain was that person. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu was playing and making love with Hazrat Imam Hussain. And Imam Hussain caught hold of the beard of Nabi Karim Sallallahu. Then as the Sayyida Fatima hurried up towards Nabi Karim Sallallahu, and she opened the fingers of Hazrat Imam Hussain. Nabi Karim Sallallahu got annoyed. "Why are you interrupting in our matter? It is my matter and Imam Hussain. You are nobody to interrupt us. Interruption between us is not your right. Let me play with him." And then Sayyida Fatima sat there where she was. Again, as Imam Hussain caught hold of the beard of Nabi Karim Sallallahu, and Nabi Karim Sallallahu did not touch his hand or open his fingers. He took out his tongue and put it in his mouth. So when Imam Hussain saw the red piece of the human flesh, then he tried to catch the tongue, and automatically he opened the hand. So this was the remedy to the problem. This was Nabi Karim Sallallahu love for him. Look, his love was for Nabi Hazrat Imam Hussain was such that he was not ready to accept the interruption by Sayyida Fatima when he was in the scorching sand of Karbala Mualla, and the shower of arrows were coming to the Imam Hussain, and Imam Hussain was all alone, and he was fighting against the Khawarij. The research scholars say that any persons who was happy, who killed Imam Hussain is infidel, not for killing a person, but there is a verdict in Shami Sharif that if a person blasphemes the shoe of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu, he would stand infidel. This is infidelity. When the blasphemy of the shoe of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu, if the sacrilege of even a small hair of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu is fidelity, so what is your thinking about the persons who was riding on the shoulder of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu? Once upon a time, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu was in prostration. He was prostrating in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam Hussain came and jumped and mounted on the back of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu. Sayyidah Fatima hurried and picked him up. When Nabi Kareem Sallallahu came out of the prayer, he said, "Why are you interrupting us?" Nabi Kareem Sallallahu continued to say, Subhan Rabbi al-Ala, Subhan Rabbi al-Ala, Subhan Rabbi al-Ala, hatta, so much so that until Nabi Kareem Sallallahu counted 72 times Subhan Rabbi al-Ala, but he did not pick up the head from the prostration because Imam Hussain was going to be disturbed. Nabi Kareem Sallallahu wanted to avoid disturbance of Hazrat Imam Hussain, and instead he continued the repetition of Subhan Rabbi al-Ala, Subhan Rabbi al-Ala. So when Hazrat Imam Hussain was in the field of Karbala Sharif, that situation is also seeing worthy. Anabnu Ali al-Hibr min Ali Hashimi, Kafani bihaza, mafkaran khina afkaru. I am the son of that person who was the greatest scholar after Anbiya alayhi salatu, without any exception. He was superior scholar to everybody. And the scholar are not rustler. Rustler are mostly very foolish person, mostly. But he is the scholar as well, he is rustler as well. At the same time, these two dichotomous were putting together by means of Hazrat. Do you know dichotomy? Polarity. When you are mutually exclusive, they cannot be put together. These two are mutually exclusive together. They have got polarity. They have got dichotomy. But they were put together by Hazrat Ali Sher Khuda. Kafani bi hazam afkaran, khina afkaru. And this is enough for me if I be proud of it. وجدي رسول الله أكرم من مشى ونحن سراج الله في الناس يظهر. And my grandfather is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is superior to everybody who walked in the universe, even angel, even prophet, even companion, even any other person, anybody who walked in the universe. My grandfather is superior to everybody. And وَنَحْنُ سِرَاجُ اللَّهِ فِي النَّاسِ أَزْهَرُ. And we are only, they are illuminating things. We shall give the light, then all of the universe would be illuminated. وَفَاطِمَةُ أُمِّي سَلَالَةُ أَحْمَدَ وَأَمِّي يُدْعَى يَذْرَى خَيْنِ جَعْفَرُ. And my mother is Sayyidatun Nisa, which is component part of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu. Juzul Marefi Mana Nafsahi. When the infidel of Bani Khaza said that angels are daughters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَجَعَلُوا لَهُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ جُزًا. These people have made the component part of Allah, because daughter is a component part of father. If they are my daughters, then they are my component, and I am not divisible. So Quran itself believes that the offsprings of component part of the father. So Sayyida Fatima is component part of the father, constituents of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu, and our Hadaya, the last book of our law, which is taught in the course, that is called Hadaya. Juz'ul Mare fi Mana Nafsihi. The component part of a person is like a person. So she is a component part of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu. Ammi Yuda Zal Janakhain Jafaru. And my uncle is a person who is flying with the wings in the paradise. It was his miracle in the world. He was flying in the space in this world. And this is a belief of ideological belief that the miracle which are found with a person in the life after death, the same miracle can be found with that person. He was flying in this world with the wings, and he is flying in the paradise as well. And when Imam Hussain was mounting on the horse, one says, दिलावरों में फर्द है ये कैसा शेर मर्द है दिलावरों में फर्द है ये कैसा शेर मर्द है कि जिसके दबदबे से दुश्मनों का रंग जर्द है ये बिल यकी हुसैन है नबी का नूर ऐन है जबी तो इसके सामने ये फौज गर्द बर्द है. Now, this is the end of my lecture today. Inshallah, the next lecture, which I will also be in the same subject, I shall discuss the matter of Imam Hussain, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Imam Hussain was really too big to be explained by me. I am not in a position to explain. I have to encircle or engulf his total personality. May Allah forgive me. وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.